Today I'm going to try to simplify the most asked question I get from new griddle owners by going over the different types of oils, explaining which ones I like and don't like, and answering the age-old question, what oil should you cook with on the griddle? Just to clarify, I'm just going over cooking oil, not to season your griddle with, even though sometimes they're often the same. However, for seasoning, Blackstone recommends, when they sell more griddles than anybody else in the world, so they recommend like canola, olive oil, shortening, vegetable oil, and the thing that they sell, their own Blackstone seasoning. Obviously they recommend that, but those are good for seasoning. The rest of this video is just about cooking. To help make this make sense, and for my brain to make it make sense, I separated it out into 3 different sections. We're going to start with our high smoke point oils I like with neutral flavors. We're going to go to our low smoke point oils that I'm not a huge fan of for griddling, and finally finish with not really oil, but things you can cook with, like butter. And sesame oil is an oil, but technically it's not for cooking, it's finishing. And we'll go over that later. Oh, and one last thing before we get started, I want to make a disclaimer that I am not going over any health aspects of these oils at all. I have no idea what is and what is not healthy, what is a good fat, what is not a good fat. I'm just talking about what I like to cook with. You can go ask somebody else about that. I'm not a doctor. And frankly, neither are other people that are making comments on the internet. I'm just some dude in Ohio that drinks beer and griddles. Okay, we got our high smoke point oils, which I like to cook with. We'll start with avocado. This one is a really high smoke point, up to like 480. It's very popular because of the high smoke point. The reason you want to use high smoke point oils, in my opinion, or the reason I like to, is because these griddles get really hot. So anything between 350 and 4 is probably too low because it's so easy for these griddles to accidentally shoot above 400. So avocado, really high smoke point, great choice. Great choice. It's a choice of Sam the Cooking Guy uses it, Todd Tovin uses it. If you don't know who those 2 people are, then that means absolutely nothing to you. But I just like name dropping, people use it. However, avocado oil is expensive and I am cheap. So if you don't want to use avocado oil or don't want to pay the money for it, I totally understand because there's other options. Like just olive oil can go to 4 to 450. So you get some olive oil, it says right on there, frying. Good to use for frying. So you got olive oil laying around, that's another good choice. Canola oil, I got this Crisco canola oil. I use that a lot, hence the giant jug. So this is probably what I use the most. This is a great, cheaper option that has a high smoke point as well, gets up to like 450. So I buy it by the jug. I'd recommend maybe using some Crisco canola oil or any canola oil that you can get, or a vegetable oil as well, is another common used oil on the griddle. All right, things I don't use. Oh, beer, this one's gone. But don't season your griddle with beer. Season the chef with beer. But also low temperature oils. Extra virgin olive oil is one that I don't use. Also, in the spray bottle, they really recommend not using this. Blackstone does not recommend using this at all. They say it leaves some sort of film on top. I've used it. I've sprayed it a lot, especially when I'm using my omelet rings. I like to use this, but I don't use it like every single time to spray on the griddle. They say it'll leave a film because of the chemicals that are in the aerosol. So this is the one really they recommend staying away from, is the sprays. I'm sure some people have used them like all the time and haven't had a problem. I'm just telling you from what is online and from what Blackstone recommends. And also I've seen a little bit of chemical stickiness on mine, but again, I don't use this like every time to season, to put a coat on and finish seasoning or cooking my griddle with. So, but all extra virgin olive oil, way too low of a smoke point as well. You're looking at like 350. So I don't really like extra virgin olive oil. Coconut oil, I don't know if you've ever used this. This is delicious, but it has a low smoke point of like 350 to 380. So it's not great for cooking on the griddle, but it is very good. It's great for baking. If you've never baked with it, I'd highly recommend baking with coconut oil. It gives it like a rich flavor to it, and it's really, really tasty. But I wouldn't really use it to cook with for my everyday cooking on the griddle. Another one is flaxseed oil. It became really popular to season your griddle with flaxseed oil because I don't know why, but it has a really low smoke point, so I wouldn't cook with it. As far as seasoning with it, I've never done it. I know people love it. Maybe somebody will comment below why they love it, but I just really haven't had a lot of experience with flaxseed oil because I know it has a low smoke point, so I don't really use it. All right, our third category, not really oil, more like butter. Delicious. So butter, you got to cook with it, right? I mean, I'm just trying to live my best Paula Deen life and throw as much butter in my food as possible, but it has a really low smoke point, like 320 by itself. So be careful, be very careful. What you can do is put some oil down first, then put the butter down, and the oil will help the butter from burning and becoming, you know, brown butter. Well, brown butter is good. There's brown butter and then there's burnt butter. You know, there's like a fine line there. But you also can cook this out and separate out the water and make clarified butter. Ooh, also known as ghee, also known as liquid gold. You know what? It should just be liquid gold because that's the best name, also known as ghee or clarified butter. But I'd highly recommend that because then your smoke point goes up to 480 and you get all of that deliciousness buttered flavor, but you get a higher smoke point. So, and you can buy ghee pre-made in the store as well. So, not made, I guess they just cook it down. I don't know if it's made, but pre-bottled in the store, you can buy ghee. So definitely give that a try, especially for fried rice. I like to use like just a little oil down initially, then butter after butter after butter after butter, you know, just to make it taste delicious. So it's not called liquid gold for no reason. Next we got Whirl. What is this? It's a good question. We're not really sure. It's not really oil, not really butter. According to the back here, it is soybean oil, hydrogenated soybean oil, 2% or less of salt, sunflower lectin, and artificial butter and beta carotene. That's what makes it taste good, the beta carotene. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. I don't know what this is. Probably isn't good for you. I do know from working in Bob Evans and a lot of other diners, this is the kind of stuff they use. So you really get a diner style taste to it. It's got that artificial buttery flavor. It's really good. It's shelf stable. It's cheap. That's why they use it. So if you don't care about, you know, all that stuff, you want to roll the dice and try something that might taste good and make it taste like a diner, give it a whirl. Pun intended there. Sorry, that was terrible. I apologize for even doing that. But I'll have an Amazon link if you want to grab some. Sesame oil, this is not a cooking oil, this is a finishing oil, as I said earlier. You finish your meal with it, whether it's fried rice, or I like to use it also for egg roll in a bowl. So you don't start your fried rice by putting down sesame oil then cooking in it. You wait till everything's done, sprinkle a little on top, do the 2 spatula toss, living your best griddle life, and then you eat it. If you haven't used sesame oil to finish your fried rice, buy some. Buy some. I'm telling you, it's delicious. It's going to be the thing that puts your fried rice over the top. It gives it more of a carry-out flavor like what you're used to when you get like Chinese food to go. So definitely buy some sesame oil. Just don't use it as your main oil to cook with. So, in my opinion, here are the oils that I like to cook with. If you want something that has a high smoke point and you can afford it, buy yourself some avocado oil. If you want something that tastes delicious and you have the time to make it, make yourself some ghee or liquid gold. If you want that authentic diner flavor, get yourself some Whirl or whatever mixture of buttery fake oil you can find at your grocery store or restaurant store. If you just want to cook on your griddle and not worry about this stuff, grab some canola oil out of your cabinet, turn on your griddle, and cook one of these recipes that are on the screen right now. Keep on griddling, friends.